Good evening and welcome to the Pastor Study. You know, we are approaching the Christmas season. We're now in the month of December. And one thing that our celebration of Christmas does is it forces us as believers, or maybe forces is too strong of a word, leads us perhaps to peer more closely and to remind ourselves of what the Christmas season is all about. That the incarnation, man become God, is very real to us and in our lives. For me, it helps me to remind myself of how much the Father loves his creation, that he was willing to send his Son to start life all over as a brand new baby, to grow through all the trials and tribulations that the growth of a young man up through adolescence and into teen years and into adulthood deals with. And know that he did that knowing that he left everything in heaven behind because he loves us. Paul prays a similar thing for us or to us, or at least to the Ephesians. As he writes to the Ephesians, he takes some time and lets them know how he's praying for them. In Ephesians chapter 3, beginning with verse 14, verse 16 says this: I pray that out of his glorious riches he may strengthen you with power through his Spirit, and do this in your inner being, so that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. And I pray that you, being rooted and established in love, may have power together with all the saints to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled to the measure of all of the fullness of God. That's a mouthful. But one of the things that Paul is praying is that the Ephesians, the place that he spent probably more time teaching than any other place, would come to a relationship with Jesus, that they would understand how overwhelming his love for us is. And he starts that with the phrase that I think, or at least that particular sentence, he says, I pray that you, being rooted and established in love. The Greek gives us the flavor of, I pray that you being rooted and established in the Father's love. That is to say that our relationship with the Father is so intertwined with that of the Son that it is not until we come into that proper understanding of the relationship that we can, as Paul said, understand how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ. That it is so great that he would rather die than live without us, as one writer phrases it. My prayer for you in this short devotion tonight is that you will take the Christmas season to remind yourself of how wide and high and deep and long is the love of Christ for you. What crises of life has he walked through with you? How many times has he ministered grace into your life, ministered his love to you? Maybe he's healed you or provided supernaturally in some way for you. Maybe you'll look at your spouse and say, thank you, God, for providing him or her for me. And know that on the day that you stand before him, whatever understanding of love you have today, of his love, will pale when you experience it face to face. And he wraps his arms around you and he says, welcome home, my child. And with that thought, I look forward to seeing you next week back in the Pastor Study.